All right, so welcome back to the Now Morning Show. This morning we already spoke to Professor Brian Copeland and discussing, education at University of the Western Indies, and we're going to continue the conversation on education in 2020. And Carrie, I think I'm going to throw this one across to you.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. Here to discuss education in 2020 and to promote an upcoming event via Facebook is Pierre, secondary school teacher and director, 21st Century Educators. Welcome, Leanne. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit about 21st Century Educators.
Could you repeat?
Tell us a little bit about 21st Century Educators.
Yes. So 21st Century Educators is actually a professional learning hub of resources for teachers, and it's carefully curated resources. It was actually started in February 2019. After having conducted some workshops, and teachers, we realized the one-day workshops were great, but they needed a place where they could come and get extra resources that were very practical and hands-on, and so it was started last year, 2019.
So what are some of the resources that you see there was a need for that were not previously available to them that you address via this forum?
Yes. So I was looking at, social media is used a lot, and why not use it for professional development? It allowed for teachers to be able to go online when they wanted and to select the resources that they needed at that time. Because, the workshops would be just for a period of time, and sometimes they wouldn't have that extra support. So it was really to provide a place of support for my colleagues. And well, as I mentioned, it started 2019. And although it was initially set up for Trinidad and Tobago, it has gone global. So we have participants worldwide. We have approximately 15,000 persons who now follow the page.
Congratulations. So tell us about the workshops. What are some of the topics that these workshops cover?
So our initial focus was ICT in education, how to use technology effectively in the classroom. And then we branched off into looking at foreign languages specifically because I teach foreign languages. And then we started looking at different research. So we would have done workshops on Generation Z. We would have done several of them locally, and we also did 2 internationally as well. And apart from the workshops, we actually started last November looking at webinars. And we have actually done several webinars and Facebook Lives because we realized it was a different outlet. People were at home, so they didn't have to leave their home, and they were able to still participate and benefit from the sessions. And that was started last November and has continued up to this point.
And, considering the current climate, you have taken advantage of the online forum for this. So tell us a little bit why this forum is so impactful at this time.
Well, I think, as I mentioned, people are at home, they're in the comfort of their homes, and they can access it when they want. But particularly during this period, during COVID, what we discovered, we were able to reach our audience, we were able to reach our teachers, and our focus became primarily on remote learning and how to assist teachers during this time. So we actually created, along with Jadel Holder-Remy, a remote learning plan for the Caribbean. And we also would have looked at how to engage students from the primary and secondary school level, actually creating materials, curating materials, and having live sessions to actually show teachers how to engage students during this time. So we realized that the online forum, and it also allowed us, it also allowed us to reach Caribbean persons as well. So having social media really was useful during this period to reach our educators.
So having it done in this format, is it a format that can be used across the board for all types of educators, or is it limited to specific types of educators who are probably within the primary or secondary school system, or can it go further to even tertiary and beyond?
Well, actually, our page has persons from preschool. We have primary school, secondary school, tertiary. We have curriculum officers, school supervisors. We even have parents who are homeschoolers. So it reaches a wide range of persons. And so we welcome anybody who is involved in education to participate.
And how do educators and anyone interested become members first, and how do they benefit from the platform?
Well, basically what we do, we look at themes that are relevant and needed, and we curate resources. We also focus on various things. So for example, during this period, although we primarily focus on ICT, we are looking at health and wellness for teachers. So we would have had things like stress management techniques. We would have had sessions where we focus on breathing exercises, and we would be also looking at nutrition, how to eat healthy without breaking your budget. That's a session that we have coming up. We also have someone doing fitness challenges. So even though you're not a teacher, you can still benefit from many of the sessions. I know of parents who come and use the resources for their children at home. So as I said, once you are an educator does not necessarily mean that you are in a specific institution. Once you're an educator, you can feel free to follow the page and use the resources.
All right. And, it's a forum or a group where a lot of educators / teachers would join together. It is within a teacher's nature to teach. So are there ways in which, the teachers and educators can actually contribute to the experience and get a little more hands-on when it comes to, even putting things across to others in the group?
Yes. So what we have a Facebook page, and then we have another group, a separate group, where teachers can contribute there, as well as people can feel free to send messages. So we have had in the past where we did teacher features featuring best practices of teachers to share that knowledge. Persons do share articles that they come across, or if they have created resources, they feel free to send it. We do love to showcase
Wonderful.
Our local talent. Actually, we do have a local blogger, Vicky Sangasingh, who writes wonderful articles which are really relevant to our education system, and she has been doing a fantastic job. And we also have persons from Trinidad and Tobago who have done several of the webinars who are teachers, so it is based on their experience and not just the theoretical stuff, because we believe in being practical, relevant, and of course fun.
And of course, I understand there's a partnership with the Caribbean Visionary Educators. Tell us about that.
Yes. So 21st Century Educators has partnered with Caribbean Visionary Educators because we do believe that they're doing a really fantastic job. And so on July 30th at 5 p.m., we will be doing a Facebook Live where we focus on Education 2020 and beyond. And this is something that we do not want to miss because we have some really excellent panelists, stakeholders from various sectors, and it is something that is going to be a wonderful discussion to carry us forward during this time in terms of education.
So that is July 30th, 5 p.m. So do people just go onto the Facebook page and they can then join the live stream, or is it something you have to register for beforehand?
So we actually have two ways. We will be producing the event at the end of today. You can look out for it on 21st Century Educators, and you can join us via Zoom, but you can also join us via Facebook Live.
So via Zoom and via Facebook Live. So there's more than one means by which to join into this exciting forums. And how can persons get more information if they're an educator and they want to get involved, or if they are maybe a student or a parent and they want to get involved as well?
So you can look at us on 21st Century Educators. You can send us a message. We also have an email address, which is admin@21stcenturyeducators.net. That would be 21, the figures, 21stcenturyeducators.net. But if you go on to the Facebook page, 21st Century Educators, you can send us a message there as well, and we will get back to you. You can also go on Caribbean Visionary Educators Facebook site, and we can also message you there as well.
All right, and after this Facebook Live event on the 30th, what else can we expect?
Yes, the 30th of July at 5 p.m. And we're looking forward. We want you to come with all your questions and your comments, because it is
my question was,
going to be an intro. We are going to approach education during this COVID period as well as after.
All right, Leon, I think Carrie's mic is giving some trouble, so I wanna jump in and ask, what are the plans for 21st Century Educators after this Facebook Live? What's the next step?
Well, we actually have quite a number of sessions coming up. We have a session with Genially, which is a company based in Spain, and they will actually be coming to talk to us about how to create distance learning materials. As I mentioned, we have our nutritionist, Gabrielle Molino, coming to talk about healthy eating without breaking your budget. And basically what we do, we try to ask our educators, what do you need? And we then go try to source persons who can assist. So we do have plans to talk about how to manage finances, and we do have another session coming up with a psychologist talking again about stress management, because this period has been particularly stressful for teachers. So those are just some of the things that we are having coming up.
All right, well, fantastic. Leanne, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning, and all the best on the 30th of July at 5 p.m. Please log into the Facebook and register and all that good stuff. And Leanne and the team at 21st Century Educators is going to have all the information you need and so much more. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. Miss Pierre.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Bye.